Okay guys, welcome back. I'm super excited to be here and to be shooting my next video of one of my most favorite single malt scotch. The name is so unique and it's so uncommon, and probably that's one of the reasons why I got so intrigued towards this whiskey. Today I am reviewing the Talisker 10, one of my most favorite, like I said. So where does Talisker come from, right? We obviously do speak about the origins, sometimes just to engage with the people who are really interested. Talisker comes from Isle of Skye. It's right by the sea, strong Atlantic Ocean waves, and a lot of wind in and around the distillery. I only have this much left. Pardon me, this is the second time I'm saying this, but I really wanted to review this whiskey and show you guys or take you through whatever this beautiful bottle is all about. So I have spared quite a bit, and I picked this up from Goa, and let's give it a read though. From the oldest distillery of Isle of Skye and made by the sea, right? So this is obviously, like I said, so I'm going to read out a little bit of what the carton says. Powerful and proudly elemental. This sweet, smoky, sea-forged malt began Talisker's story, which means the 10 is the benchmark for Talisker, right? Experience Talisker's rugged heart and maritime character. By rugged heart, it's the location where it is. The maritime character is obviously a lot of the sea salt in the air. This particular distillery and the whiskey, is made by the sea, right? So from rugged coastlines to beastly storms, to warming sunbeams and soaring skies, the Isle of Skye powers through our veins and invigorates our souls. Unpredictable elements meet untamed beauty to create a spirit as wild as our island, yet so raw and yet so redefined. I love what a lot of these companies do when it comes to describing the whiskey. Now, Talisker, like I said, is from Isle of Skye, right? So the distillery, if you actually Google, or I'll try putting a photo here, we all know that it's one of the most violent seas, or I might say like something that's really that has a lot of strong winds, strong currents, a lot of splash that keeps happening by the rock. Talisker is slightly elevated, so we can expect a lot of maritime flavors in this whiskey. One of the most um, interesting part of this particular whiskey, this particular dram, is that there's so much of sea salt that's involved in it thanks to the location where it's placed or where it's situated. I read a beautiful article, a couple of days ago on Talisker, and they have this one particular article that says Talisker and the sea is basically, all about the relationship that Talisker has with the distillery and the sea, right? Um, Obviously the master distiller or the master blender is one person who would know the location where it is. Whew, it's a pretty pronounced whiskey. You can smell it from a distance. There's a lot of salt, my friends. As you can see, the color, it's golden. There's a lot of sea salt on the nose, right? A lot of crisp apple and pears that I get. They're also, obviously, I mean, being a scotch, it has to be aged in ex-bourbon casks, so which means there is a lot of vanilla and a lot of caramel and butterscotch in this. Yep. So I'm gonna give this a taste. So slancher. Mm. Wow. Whew. Trust me, guys. It's like on the palate. It's it's the peatiness that comes through, right? And it's such a beautiful blend of peatiness with saltiness. You get where I'm coming from. Like it is sweet smoke, but there is a bonfire, ashy kind of a smoke to this too. and then you have a lot of the sea salt that and a lot of pepperiness. Again, I'm feeling a lot of warmth in my on my throat, and it is beautifully balanced. I wouldn't say it's the most or one of the most viscous whiskeys on earth. By that I mean to say it's not too thick in its texture. It's pretty thin. It is very palatable, neat, has a very long finish. Yeah, so I have basically got the Estuary single malt water quite recently. I've been doing a lot of trials, and to be very frank, I do see a lot of hate saying this, saying what is this water and how different it might be. But if you actually appreciate whiskey for what it is, you must try the Estuary single malt, blending water. Just a drop or two. It's a really nice bottle, I must say, but let's not deviate from Talisker. I will do a separate review on why water is so important when you're having your whiskey, right? Good water, probably such as the Estuary single malt blending water, can elevate your experience. I'll cut it off there. I'm sorry. There's a lot of nerdiness there. It is a very, very crisp whiskey. It's pretty rare for people to actually explain a whiskey to be really crisp. It's usually related to beers, something like a lager, but I would say this is a very no nonsense whiskey, right? You literally, when you have a sip of Talisker, the experience is so good. You feel like you're standing at Isle of Skye beside the distillery and getting to smell each and every single ingredient that's gone into this particular beautiful dram. And even air, even the salt water, you can probably even dream of hearing the shores, hearing the water splashing by the rocks. It is pretty peaty as well. So again, this is a peat infused barley that Talisker uses. um, Talisker has been owned by Diageo since 1986, if I'm not wrong. Diageo has one of the most long list of portfolios under them, right? I mean, apart from Pernod, of course. But just a fun fact, a Talisker is also one of the malts that goes into your black label. If you ever gave it a thought, you'd also realize that black label is very forward on apple pears, a bit of the citrus, and there is a bit of sea salt in the back that lingers around. That naturally happens because it's a blended whiskey, not going to have very straight up character like a single malt. But yeah, I'll probably review that one day and take you guys through. I've added 2 drops of water, as you guys know. I'm going to go for the palate. The sweetness is opened up. The pepperiness has not died one bit. It's a very warming sensation even now after 2 drops of water. I'm getting a lot of the apple pear combination even in the mouth. It's very salivating, and it's a really dry sort of a barley. Like I wouldn't say it's very malty, but it's a dry barley taste, which also creates a very unique expression on the whole. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really wanted to cover this whiskey, as one of my most favorite whiskeys, and I'm so happy that you're here. Cheers.